is the Witchwood, Doomsday Project, Rostakon's Rumble, Rise of Shadow, and the Classic set. So this was not a full power year of Hearthstone yet. You play Nat Pagel because you're gonna play Azalina anyway. It's gonna replace your hand. You don't want the Subject 9.
And first things first, he checks the horror.
I don't even know how to respond. Not only does Viper fill his hand with cards that actually do something, he also has now full information minus one card of this.
Frog. Walk Fountain's good. Good card. Such a spooky card. You can never leave that card alive. Wow, not playing the Walk Fountain. Seeing what he gets first. Spell. So another key difference here, by the way, is Spell Totem. The Spell Power Totem was still in the game. This is no longer in Hearthstone anymore. Well, I guess new Hearthstone. They got rid of it. The Spell Power... The thing about the Spell Power Totem, and this is a good representation of why they removed it, right? This was such a giga high roll for Hunter Ace because it did make a difference, right? It basically full clears the board now guaranteed with the old version of Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm's also changed at the moment. It now does 3 damage no matter what. But you can see the difference here, right? This Spell Power Totem allowed him to do a pretty big trade here. Basically clears the full board guaranteed.
I like this. And, you know, Viper's not going to roll spell damage because he's a Warlock.
Yeah.
Viper. Viper's so stoic, man. No reaction. Hunter Ace is freaking out over there. Hogger, Rain of Toads. Like, so remember at the start of the other video, or the other match of this, I talked about how this is where we saw the biggest change from Hearthstone's Discover philosophy, about how Discover is much more tempo oriented. It used to be on a tempo loss. Now it's not the case, which means that games would often just end up like this, right? If a game went on long enough, it was just like, what is going on? This is completely nonsense. And I guess when it's at the world stage and you're watching players play this for an infinite amount of money, and not infinite, but a large amount of money, and it's for farm with random legendaries, the game gets really wacky, and it ended up being a really cool championship. Oh, Vargoth plus Lightning Storm. Let's everyone pay attention to Hunter Ace's face.
I wonder.
Vargoth is one of the best cards in the game for Rise of Shadows. Oh, it's tough, man. Oh, MC Tech. Oh. What a taker. Give me the adventure. What a nuts card. Caligos.
That's a less and less because Hunter Ace's deck does not have the tools to beat this level of gas.
Yes, 100% true. So this is why this matchup is so interesting, right? Viper's at a point where they have so many legendaries in hand, and Hunter Ace basically has to survive. And honestly, as you know what, as much as people will give shit to Hearthstone about Hearthstone having a lot of Discover, this is a truly well executed and piloted game from Hunter Ace, right? Given that there's so much against him at this point, it's really well done. Walking Fountain to get some life and clear. So great play from the Walking Fountain here. Trades both 4/4s and on board. Oh, the attack on healing is so good, actually.
I can see.
Huge. Kill the Nat Pagel. There we go. Dosta.
There's a Stranglethorn Tiger in his hand. It will summon a freaking Stranglethorn Tiger in his hand, Raven, that he picked from a grifter.
That's Sven of Hearts. That's pretty funny. The casters go.
He's playing Zoo.
Why do we even need notes?
Dosta's really interesting here.
You may have heard, it's all ripping up Viper's Zoo list. We don't need 2 cards anymore. We've got every card in Hearthstone.
So Dosta gets another full health. Oh, interesting. Gurbashi Berserker into the Ziliax of the Anoyatron. Excellent play from Hunter Ace here. So the thing about Caligos too is Caligos is originally a mage spell, but it discovers you Warlock cards here.
He feels under threat, and so he should. He absolutely is under threat. There's a lot of damage being represented on the board.
I'll say almost. Well, he's got random legendaries. Let's see what this fast out's going to be, though.
Oh, Shudderwalk.
Jaina versus Rexa.
I'm excited to hear Shudderwalk sped up.
You asked for it.
Tap. Another Azalina, man. Oh my god, the stress on
5-1 going into a 5-6.
the stress on Hunter Ace's face here, dude. How do you deal with this? You definitely kill the Acolyte here. It's too spooky.
The mind control tech in the Shudderwalk is live.
Sign Hunter Ace up.
Is this the Shudderwalk turn?
But now he might gig first to go wider. He doesn't. He goes now, and you know what? Let's just see what's going to happen.
There's the big help.
Oh my god, he's so large.
Ah, I see you've brought guests.
Caligo. See, you get warlock spells here. So Twisting Nether. Oh, a Demon Bolt. Oh my. Where's the Serenite Chain Gang True, man? So obviously that Shadow Walk is really good. It brought Hunter Race in. It made Hunter Race the aggressor. Viper had to respond. The Caligos obviously saved him. If the Caligos didn't get removal, the game was over right there. Eagle Inventor just push face, I guess, in this period. Another Peggle. See, not great. I just want to mention again, I don't think enough of this is actually said in these finals, but dude, imagine your mental state playing this game currently. You would be like, you're a Hearthstone player who plays this game time and time again to practice these matchups. And this is where you are in the very last game of the World Finals, man. Pretty wild. Oh, the Witch's Brew with Glass Knight? Pretty spicy play.
He is going to stop and drop the jet click, which I do agree with. I think he needed to do something else.
Oh, with Rush too, it's huge.
So that's 2 mana. He's only got 3 cards left, so I can't see the pick. I see a lot of 4 attacks.
Oh,
Has a chance of stealing the Hagathor for himself. He can find the Azavina.
But he's got no minions left.
the Glass Knight was never really played, right? So yeah, Caligos is kind of whatever.
Gained like 6 divine shields last turn, but it doesn't quite work that way.
It's another ancestral healing, which is really, really important. Remember when Hunter Race was like really low chat? So again, you ignore the Caligos. There's literally no point to worry about it. You get the Hex because Caligos on the board, yeah.
Pyromancer as well.
Pyros is kind of spicy here too. Jesus. What is this game, dude? This is... I've seen this like 3 times and I'm still like, what the hell's going on here? Totemic Smash. He just does 2, right? Because you don't get the overkill here. Oh my god, overkill. What a mechanic. Gruul! Gruul was actually running a competitive deck? Yeah, dude. It wasn't randomly generated or anything. No, it's in the deck. I'm just like, again, imagine the situation you're in. And I don't know how much this match is worth. Like considering, think of it like this, right? If you're in a best of 5 and it comes down to the very last game, it might as well just be a best of 1, right? So this is a best of 1 for whoever wins the championship and the money that comes with it and the notoriety. And this is what's happening in your game. Violet trade. Trade. Blood Mage Thalnos. It's really bad.
Do you hear its call?
He knows Hex is there. He knows Hex is there.
Turn and take the damage from the Gruul.
I think it's because he wants worst
It's
case.
unlikely
He
to
wants like
happen.
Pyro Hex, right?
Yep. Worst case, best case scenario, he can kill this 8/5 without using a Hex, and then he beats Deathwing as the last card as well.
He can kill it now with Totemic Might. Beautiful. To clean it up, and I believe...
Even in a completely solved game, Hunter Ace finds a way to maximize his chances. And after beating a seemingly unbeatable Rafarm, everything came together for that deck.
Anyways, so that's the end of this championship. Let's watch Hunter Race pick up the trophy because that's always fun to watch. Because Hearthstone didn't have a world championship in 2018, they decided to do this after the first expansion in 2019, which leads up to the actual world championship in 2019. Okay, so this was what was supposed to be the actual world championship in 2019. All right, this is what it was supposed to be. And this time was really interesting because we have a very special winner this time, chat. Shout out to Gallon. Gallon currently works for Hearthstone as one of the game designers. Big pog for him. VK Lion was the female representative from China, I believe, who made it to the very finals. And this is when at this time, I believe Hearthstone was on YouTube for this one, right? I don't know about the Rise of Shadows one, but I believe this is when Hearthstone went to YouTube. And this is where we started to watch the decline of Hearthstone. This was a pretty big moment in Hearthstone's career because we didn't have the exposure to Twitch anymore. This one, I also believe, was at a really weird moment in time because this expansion, or where this was when they did the Tombs of Terror, I think it was called. And the Tombs of Terror is when they brought back a couple of old cards a couple of old cards back into the standard format that really messed things up before Descent of Dragons was released, and Evolve Shaman was one of them, so we'll watch it. This one's pretty gross. Not a huge fan of this metagame. This was probably Hearthstone was one of the worst. Basically, for people who weren't playing during this time, if you played during Undertaker Hunter, Evolve Shaman was almost the same idea. Really toxic. It was just dominating the game. Not great. All right, so this...
Time runs out on me.
Mysteria, what is your wisdom?
On the dotted line. On the dotted line.
Smuggle!
Well fought. I concede.
Tear you apart.
I'm just gonna prep everyone. This is basically to sum up what this metagame is like, what she's about to do. And let's just be honest. I announced on Twitter a while ago.
Jane!
Getting another evolve.
Embrace the chaos.
You asked for it.
She throws out the quick prayer. I'm not even joking, it is actually important to play the one that you just threw in that situation.
So pretty good board. Turn 4. This one's tough because this metagame was so whack. It was like their very first time trying something new, which bringing old cards back into the standard format, which I thought was really interesting. I wish they did a little bit more balance around it, but you can see this game's pretty much over. Shaman as a whole is the cringiest class in my opinion, even worse than Druid. You have old aggro Shaman, this evolve Shaman, and so on. Shaman lives in a weird paradox where it's either absolutely broken or just the stupidest class ever.
Alongside that as well, I did it. I said Murloc, I didn't say Forest. I'm so proud of myself.
And by stupid, I mean like awful. Like, it's not good. Yeah, so the VK Lion just plays a bunch of stuff here.
It's not actually a huge upgrade.
And then we just evolve again, get another board. We put Soul of the Murloc.
It's like 3.8.
And yeah, this game's looking pretty over. Nourish, yeah. I mean, they're just looking for something to do. Yeah, this one's over. This one's just... like, you can just see how stupid that game was. Didn't feel like a real game, to be honest. I felt really bad. In my opinion, even worse than Druid. You have old aggro Shaman, this evolve Shaman, and so on. Shaman lives in a weird paradox where it's either absolutely broken or just the stupidest class ever.
Alongside that as well, I did it. I said Murloc, I didn't say Forest. I'm so proud of myself.
And by stupid, I mean like awful. Like, it's not good. Yeah, so the VK Lion just plays a bunch of stuff here. And then we just evolve again, get another board. We put Soul of the Murloc. And yeah, this game's looking pretty over. Nourish, yeah. I mean, they're just looking for something to do. Yeah, this one's over. This one's just... like, you can just see how stupid that game was. Didn't feel like a real game, to be honest. I felt really bad watching this one. This one just felt really... anyways, continuing down the path here. At this point, this is just the last game. All right, this is what it comes down to. All right, so let's see how well this goes. This is the Highlander Hunter. Now, hold on. True. Thank you so much for 20, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, good job, chat. Proud of you guys. This is the Highlander deck. Death versus the Great on turn 2. Just notice this game looks more desaturated. That's what I said at the start. It looks weird, right? Okay. This one's just... I feel so bad for Bloody here. It's just rough. Lamp is good. Mass Contender for another one. Go face. Again, so far behind. It's so unfortunate because there's nothing the Druid could really do here, right? Swipe is played. The quest is finally finished. They do have the Ferocious Howl for the next turn, but again, it doesn't really matter. So I don't even know what they do here, right? Probably Oasis ally to protect themselves. There's no reason to use the Ferocious Howl because you can't really do anything past it. Actually, the Wrath is just not good enough, right? There's just nothing good enough. I mean, yeah, they keep the 5/5, I guess, but it's so far behind. I guess the Druid was thinking about like the freezing trap, right? Because if there was freezing, it's so awful.
17 damage in play. Desert Spear is going to come
But
through.
it does keep our tradition of seeing Druid in the finals.
Becomes the first woman to reach the pinnacle of competitive Hearthstone. She is your 2019 BlizzCon champion and your 2019 global champion.
So VK Lion ends up winning the tournament, which is awesome. We'll see her hoisting the, I love that word, hoisting the trophy. Where is it? I love watching people pick up the trophy. I don't know what it is. It's like euphoric for them. I feel good for them. Hunter Ace had that for the least amount of time compared to everyone else.
First, the most generic question in esports. For a moment.
Anyways, VK Line's finished. Then we move on to 2020. Now, what was 2020? 2020 was the year of Demon Hunter. And as you can see, both of the players, Yarla and Glory, both brought Demon Hunter. Now, in my opinion, this is where we start to see the most dramatic change to Hearthstone. This is the most dramatic change in Hearthstone, in my opinion. Because Hearthstone now becomes a much more aggressive at this point. So what do we got here? We got Warrior for both sides. No Druid. Druid is gone. Pretty crazy, actually. Demon Hunter is here. Rogue is here. Priest is here. Warrior's banned on this side and Paladin's banned on this side. Okay, so we have a slower combo warrior deck. This was the Silas Warrior. And this is Libram Paladin. Versus Code Zero. Jesus Christ. What a broken card. Remember that, chat? I think this, like, if I was going to show someone like the biggest difference between Hearthstone, it'd probably be like this year and last year. Like the difference is so insane. These decks are so consistent at the moment. So I should also mention at this point in time, this is Rise of Shadows, Savers of Uldum, last expansion, Descent of Dragons, the mini set for Descent of Dragons. Then we had Ashes of Outlands, Scholomance Academy, and Darkman Fair. So we have a full 6 set here. Dude, it's just, when Libram Paladin gets going, it's just so good. Libram Paladin was like, when Penflinger was unnerfed, which I think at this point it was nerfed, but God, when Libram Paladin had Penflinger, it was just such a stupid deck. It literally was early game, mid-range, and late game. This matchup is just basically, can the Paladin kill the Warrior before the Warrior gets the combo off? And this is hard because the Paladin, because of the way Librams work, they always have infinite threats. Oh, wow.
Stick a board. Hope that he could put Rattleboard in the middle. He's going for... Okay.
Zephyrus was in the game, yeah. He fell a little bit out of the favor when Demon Hunter came out because there was just better stuff to do, but he was still always around. Zephyrus was still a good card no matter what. This is a straight up good card. Zephyrus was always a really good card. Yeah, this is huge. This is why Librams are so good, and they just keep coming back to your hands. Oh my god, so much damage here. He's playing around Bladestorm too, which was another pretty popular card at the time. Easy top deck, easy. Doesn't really matter though, right? The thing is with Librams is that they just come back. Yarla's cheese. He's like, are you serious?
Yep. Okay. So it's one again. And this is gonna overdraw. Or not gonna get.
Oh, there's Penflinger. Wait, was Penflinger unnerfed? Oh my. Okay. So I was wrong. Penflinger wasn't nerfed yet. I guess it was nerfed after the World Championship here. This card on the board that I'm highlighting right now was arguably the most frustrating card of all time to play against, especially with Libram Paladins, because the Librams kept coming back in your hand after minions died. And you're gonna see why. Look how different this game is, chat. Look how different this game is. If this was like, this is a good representation of how decks started to get like more ways to get lethal, so you wouldn't have to go on an infinite value train in order to win games. Look at this.
Usually the fastest way to try to kill people with Paladin.
What to do? What to do?
You're gonna get the Libras back, and you can do this every return because you have guaranteed.
So gross, man. So gross. I hate watching this card. Why was this a common? I mean, it didn't really matter, right? The only way that makes a difference is if it's a legendary, but it's not that cool of an effect, right? I also probably think that they probably thought that Petfinger wasn't going to be much of an issue. What's spell burst? Hey, Lord, it's just GG. It's just GG, man. Even Glory's like, are you serious, dude? It's so gross. It's so gross. Ew. Okay, anyways, let's go to the finale. Now, I have to talk about this real fast. This OTK Demon Hunter deck. Now, this is the first time we are seeing Demon Hunter at the World Championship, okay? Now, with Demon Hunter, this deck was the premier Demon Hunter deck to play because it was not only a Reno Jackson combo in itself, but it can OTK your opponent out of absolutely nowhere thanks to Il'gynoth. And we're gonna see this deck basically next year because Il'gynoth might be one of the best cards ever released into Hearthstone for Demon Hunter, and this deck made a full return the following year, and we're gonna watch how good it is. It's a mirror match, which is gonna be great. This is, what do you even call this deck? A combo? It's a combo deck, but it's control. It's not aggro for sure. It's some kind of combo control deck. Really, really good. This is OG. This is the OG one. So this one's at 4 mana. I think it's nerfed in the next one, but think about that. At six mana, it's still played as one of the best decks in the format. This is a pretty crazy deck. One of my biggest complaints about Hearthstone currently is that it feels like there's not really set up for combo. I mentioned earlier with Freeze Mage that you could kind of see it coming. Like they play the Efron Orson, or they have to play the Alex. This one's just like they're drawing. Unless you see them use a combo piece, you're basically just waiting for them to do the full combo against. You're gonna see it now. The 1,000 win Demon Hunter skin is very nice. It is very nice. Darla thinks about literally every tiny thing here. Glory's like, all right, this looks pretty good. Let's just go with that. You can tell Glory's face here is really saying a lot about the current state of the game. Consume Magic. I forgot Consume Magic has existed. Man, Demon Hunter is just such an interesting class. I think we're going to watch every grand finals from every Hearthstone World Championship to basically answer one question. How much has Hearthstone there? And then we we'll watch it. This one's pretty gross. Not a huge fan of this metagame. This was probably Hearthstone was one of the worst. Basically, for people who weren't playing during this time, if you played during Undertaker Hunter, Evolved Shaman was almost the same idea. Really toxic. It was just dominating the game. Not great. All right, so this, I'm just gonna prep everyone. This is basically to sum up what this metagame was like, what she's about to do. And let's just be honest. I announced on Twitter a while ago. Getting another evolve.
And you always play the one that you just drew. She throws out the quick prayer. I'm not even joking, it is actually important to play the one that you just drew in that situation.
So pretty good board. Turn 4. This one's tough because this metagame was so whack. It was like their very first time trying something new, which bringing old cards back into the standard format, which I thought was really interesting. I wish they did a little bit more balance around it, but you can see this game's pretty much over. Shaman as a whole is the cringiest class in my opinion, even worse than Druid. You have old aggro Shaman, this evolved Shaman, and so on. Shaman lives in a weird paradox where it's either absolutely broken or just the stupidest class ever. And by stupid, I mean like awful, like it's not good. Yeah, so the VK Lion just plays a bunch of stuff here. And then we just evolve again, get another board. Let's solve the Murloc. And yeah, this game's looking pretty over. Nourish, yeah. They're just looking for something to do. Yeah, this one's over. This one's just like you can just see how stupid that game was. Didn't feel like a real game, to be honest. I felt really bad watching this one. This one just felt weird. Anyways, continuing down the path here. At this point, this is where we gets going. It's just so good. Why was this a common? I mean, it didn't really matter. Okay, anyways, let's go to the finale. Now, I have to talk about this real fast. This OTK Demon Hunter deck. Now, this is the first time we are seeing Demon Hunter at the World Championship, okay? Now, with Demon Hunter, this deck was the premier Demon Hunter deck to play because it was not only a Reno Jackson combo in itself, but it can OTK your opponent out of absolutely nowhere thanks to Il'gynoth. And we're gonna see this deck basically next year because Il'gynoth might be one of the best cards ever released into Hearthstone for Demon Hunter, and this deck made a full return the following year, and we're gonna watch how good it is. It's a mirror match, which is gonna be great. This is, what do you even call this deck? A combo? It's a combo deck, but it's control. It's not aggro for sure. It's some kind of combo control deck. Really, really good. This OG, this is the OG one. So this was at 4 mana. I think it's nerfed in the next one, but think about that. At six mana, it's still played as one of the best decks in the format. It's a pretty crazy deck. One of my biggest complaints about Hearthstone currently is that it feels like there's not really set up for combo. I mentioned earlier with Freeze Mage that you could kind of see it coming. Like they play the Emperor Thorson or they have to play the Alex. This one's just like they're drawing. And unless you see them use a combo piece, you're basically just waiting for them to do the full combo against. You're gonna see it now. The 1,000 win Demon Hunter skin is very nice. It is very nice. Darla thinks about literally every tiny thing here. Glory's like, all right, this looks pretty good. Let's just go with that. You can tell Glory's face here is really saying a lot about the current state of the game. Consume Magic. I forgot Consume Magic has existed. Man, Demon Hunter is just such an interesting class. I think Demon Hunter really pushed the power creep of Hearthstone because when Demon Hunter was introduced, the game felt like it took a huge step forward in what classes can do. You probably put the Warblades here so you can play the Skull Gul'dan next turn. Oh, I'm a world championship, baby. Let's go. Yeah, it's this is a pretty nuts hand. Yeah, Yarla has some of the tools. I think this deck got way better like the following year though. Ooh, huge smack to the face here. So if people don't know what Outcast is by chance, Outcast is a Demon Hunter specific keyword that does something additional if it's on the right or on the most right or most left side of your hand. So you can see Outcast is yellow. It means it's, you can see Skull Gul'dan is yellow. That means it's outcasted. It's tough not playing that Skull of Gul'dan though. I'll tell you what. You want. Oh my god, disgusting. I hated this card. Insane draw, man. Again, another card that if you showed someone from old Hearthstone, you'd be like, card used to cost 5 mana. God, Demon Hunter was such a class. Do you guys? Weird question to ask here. Weird question to ask. Do you think that the addition of Demon Hunter was beneficial for Hearthstone? What do you guys think, chat? Like, I think it was, because I think more ways to play Hearthstone is great. But I think you could definitely make the claim that this class like maybe ruined Hearthstone for you. Like I could 100% see you being like, because I hate this class. I literally can't stand this class, and I've been saying that for a while. There's a video on my channel, I believe, when I was a wee lad. I did a video called My Rant on Demon Hunter because I absolutely hated this class. This video I remember is pretty cringe. Maybe we should watch it. I don't know if I'm in the mind state on it, but it captures the well-intended hero. Sure, that's also a good claim. Yeah, I think the design of the class is good, but I hate playing against it. I think I legitimately like every time I queue up against Demon Hunter, I'm like, it's the class identity for Demon Hunter. Make you suffer. Make you suffer and wish you weren't playing against it.
Witness true arcane magic.
Did he get the damage off? Yeah, so he's going up to 30, which is probably good. Full life. This is very tense. Marrow Slicer. So he has no life steal. The problem we're having, the problem that Glory has is that he just has no healing, right? So 15 is a very scary number to have. Is it lethal? Oh, he just plays it. Yeah, if this was at 10 mana, Yarla just won the game here. It's really unfortunate. He played really well. So he has to use the Moargs, I guess, unfortunately, or at least one to heal. Doesn't kill. Wait. Don't you just always kill Il'gynoth there? I think Yarla ran out of time.
True arcane magic.
But it's a lie. It's a 2-turn lethal setup. I'm certain because it's 4 from the Il'gynoth. 10 damage on board. And Glory throws it all out there. Yarla does not have.
How enigmatic.
Oh my god.
It clears everything but the Il'gynoth, then you can hero power, but then you go down. So he has to Moarg, and then.
Oh my god.
Okay.
How does he win though? I don't know. He didn't go for the ill because he didn't want Glory to heal. Oh, I guess that's fair. Playing Zephrys in a non-Reno deck. Dude, Zephrys was such a good card that he was ran in these type of decks. It's probably GG.
Yeah, I mean, Yarla has to find a way to clear this again. Another threat check.
Yeah, the card was really good. Zephrys was just a really good card. But it's also played into a deck that draws an absolute crap ton, right? Wait, he didn't want a Twisting Nether. I guess he thinks he needs Zephrys for lethal. We can full through this with Blade Dance. Blade Dance was another card I just hated.
burst power. I was thinking he was going to leave these minions on board, and then because there's no skull, there's no way that he can die from 29. His last remaining cards are Lord Keeper, Polecat, which is other than that useless, and Blade Dance, which again is not that useful with not much.
He doesn't use the Relentless Pursuit here, right? Because he could kill a minion with it, which is a big deal. Oh, is he going for Tyrion? Wait, I would have just picked the Pyroblast, bro. Oh, okay, I guess that's not worth it. Oh, this is huge, actually.
And he's got Blade Dance as his last card, so he can clear any minion at any time with Ashbreak.
Wait, this is kind of insane. I know who wins this, but I don't remember why. This is why Yarla's a pro and you're not? Dude, believe me, I know how much better Yarla is compared to me. Oh my god, no way. That's disgusting. GG. It's just GG.
Okay, so you just have to hope that he's going to kill him in 3 turns. Okay, so Glory's last, he's got Soul Shard, Lapidary, and Relentless Pursuit. So if this card is Soul Shard, Lapidary, the next card, he wants to draw that before Relentless Pursuit to change the clock. So he's drawing his Soul Fragments, that's expected. Oh, the Relentless Pursuit! So there's 1 Soul Fragment left in the deck, he's not going to take the damage.
Wait, doesn't Yarla just always lose this though? Because he does the 6 here, he has to swing. That's unfortunate. Man, it's gotta feel really rough, like in Yarla's perspective. Yeah, you can see it on his face. It's gotta be really rough to lose a game like this. So, unfortunately, we don't get to see him hoist the trophy because this is done during COVID. This was like the first year of COVID. This was actually the big year of COVID when it first came out. I'm acting like a company released it. When the pandemic first started, this was the year. So no hoisting of the trophy, unfortunately. That was a pretty disgusting Fammer draw, but we didn't even get to see the real combo of this deck, which was really interesting. But both players in the finals brought the Demon Hunter deck. So then we move on to Possessy and Glory. Okay, this is another one. Again, we see Demon Hunter in both of them. Druid is brought. I don't remember what the Druid deck is. There's Rogue and Hunter. Oh, this Rogue deck was insane. Really good Rogue deck. This is, what the hell's that deck called? Garrett Rogue. Garrett Rogue was like really good Miracle Rogue game. Rogue is playing, or Druid's playing the freaking Celestial Lemon. Anyways, we're gonna go to the final game. Just to showcase, I just want to watch the final game with you guys because I think the final game really cements how ridiculous Demon Hunter is as a class. And it's funny that it ends up being another mirror match. And as you can probably tell, as I said before, this is virtually the same deck that we just saw almost 1 year later. The only difference is the deck is more consistent. Final Showdown makes the deck absolutely disgusting because of the questlines from Stormwind. And most importantly, Il'gynoth is now 6 mana. This is a really interesting one. A lot of these cards are from Stormwind. Stormwind was such an impactful metagame. So in this one, what is in this format? So Dark Fair rotated. No, Dark Fair was in the game. So this is Barons. No, is it Barons? It's Outlands, Ash of Outlands, Skullman's Academy, Darkman Fair, Forge of the Barons, United in Stormwind. And I don't know if the last card came out or the last expansion was out at this time. It might have been Alterac Valley. This is the racing game. Yeah, so this is, okay, now to be fair, most combo decks are gonna be like this, right? Most combo decks really are just you finding your win condition faster than your opponent. But the interesting thing about this deck specifically is that this one showcases how much more draw is in the game compared to what it used to be. It's so interesting watching this. Like, look at, their whole hand is basically draw, right? Look at this. It's just funny because we watch Ancient Allure. Yeah, someone said, like, why was Ancient Allure played in the original Classic Championship? Because draw was so good. And now look at every card in their hands is draw basically, right? Also, fun fact for you, Glory is on the verge of being the first person to win 2 Hearthstone championships, not ever, but in a row. Pretty impressive. Oh, interesting. I think to glide, yeah. There's Il'gynoth at 5 mana up. Was nerfed. Glory must be traumatized from the metas he had to go through. Yeah, I mean, but you could argue that the players who are playing this game right now liked Hearthstone a ton, right? But I don't know how long Glory's been playing. Look at this. This gameplay is so weird. It's just really interesting to see the comparison between this World Championship, which obviously we're not watching all of them. We're just watching the final game compared to like 2014. What the hell? I don't know what the hell just happened.
Dari studies of Glory's life. I don't even know if we're going to get to see the option. There we go, but that is a miss on the glide. Possessi, the tension is absolutely killing him, but surely he has to...
Oh, wow. That was really bad. So he has this Kurtrus. No one has glide, which is good. Is that solitaire? Yeah, this is actually this is the solitaire world championship.
But of course, you want to dump all these useless cards first. Immolation Aura not in the deck for this matchup. I-beam not necessary.
Ferdinand does TFT now. He was doing TFT stuff, but I don't know if he works for Riot or anything. I think he works for something else.
Into combo pieces, and that is exactly what the glide does here. Glory doesn't have the chance of dumping his own cards, but could end up with enough card draw.
I guess it was, right?
Oh, so tense! Wait, it's all combo pieces for Possessi in hand. What is this?
That is not what you wanted to see. You need card draw as an incredibly high priority here, as Glory gets himself a much, much better hand here.
It's a good hand. Oof. Wait, I-beam? Oh, okay. I mean, to be fair, this is a very, very stressful game because there's like you can't gauge this game based on the board. This is purely just like in your hand.
The non-combo pieces and non-card draw cards, aside from the Vengeful Spirit, which would have taken away the Studies aura.
Another happy gift.
Again, he's just ended up drawing dead here. Both players have no card draw.
This is so silly. It's so silly to watch, dude.
It's gonna be so scrappy for the world championship title.
He just needs it. He just needs win condition. This is GG, right?
Tradable. He is one foul screen blast away from the world championship trophy.
Oh my god, this is so
more tradable.
Dude, it's GG. GG.
Oh my god, that's it.
That is 36 damage. The classic Il'gynoth, double more. Talented Arcanist. Enough targets on board to get the combo damage there. Possessi is your 2021 Hearthstone Grandmasters World Champion.
It's kind of incredible to watch. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to the players here before I end this. Just like look at Glory's face. Glory's face is like, okay, like what could I have done? What a ridiculous deck. Again, that deck was played at 2 world championships, so take that in for a second. All right, again, we can't see him hoist the trophy, unfortunately. You can see in these nice little B-roll of it. Which leads us to our very last world championship. Obviously, we're in the year 2023. This was against Dead Draw, and this was with Dead Draw and Bunny Hopper. And honestly, this was a pretty weird metagame to be in. There was a lot of different options here. Again, I'm just gonna watch what I believe. I don't even. Okay, chat. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. To save myself from watching the longest game in Hearthstone history, which is a freaking pre-smear. Again, I want to take a moment for how long this game is. When does this game start? This game starts at 9:28, basically. That's even before Mulligan, and it goes on for an hour. So I'm not gonna watch this all, but this really showcases what Hearthstone is currently and what control decks actually mean. And if you want to watch this, basically, I'll give you the rundown. Actually, we'll just watch a little bit of it. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing, but Dead Draw's falling asleep, bro. He's like, what? There's no way this is real.
Dead Draw almost certainly in control now. The ways Bunny Hopper has been cleaning out his hand with repeated whirlpools.
Look at this. Like, what the hell, dude?
Does seem to have eaten some of the value out of his deck as well.
Hearthstone currently is not control at all, though. No, it has control. Just a different form of control. Anyways. This is a very long game. If you guys want to watch it, it gets really, really intense. But after a super long game, they go all the way to fatigue. Now, picture this moment. POV, you just played an hour-long priest game, mirror match. Look at Bunny Hopper's face.
I think Bunny knows. He sees the emote, or at least hears the emote from Dead Draw,
And unless I'm missing something, that is going to be it. Dead Draw going to go out on his own terms. And Bunny Hopper is your 2022 Hearthstone World.
Again, we can't see him hoist the trophy because COVID and they just didn't want to do it. And it's really awesome for Bunny. Shout out to Bunny because Bunny's been one of the players who has been in the scene for a very long period of time. But that's basically every single world championship up until this point. Now, what did we really learn here? Hearthstone's changed quite a bit. The game has obviously adapted through the times. I'm very surprised of the differences between each year watching them back to back. Like, think about it. Last year, like the year before this one was a combo mirror match where this one is just control going all the way to fatigue. It's pretty crazy, right? But this was fun, man. I hope you guys had fun. It was really, really cool to go down memory lane here. You know what I will do though? I just want to see something. So this was streamed 5 months ago and this has 224,000 views. Okay, 24,000 views. Let me just go and look up. Let me just go up and look up 2014 World Championship. The 2014 World Championship has 1 million views and it was also streamed to 240K. That's pretty insane. The amount of drop in viewership that Hearthstone has had over the years. It's a bit unfortunate. Hearthstone took a lot of really bad steps. I want to say around 2020, 2019 or so. So it's a bit unfortunate. But here we are, chat. Anyways, hope you guys liked it. So this is the second year of Hearthstone. This is the year of the what? The Kraken, I think is when Old Gods came out. And there should be a third video. So make sure you subscribe if you like these type of videos. All cards are rated on their merit and constructed unless specified otherwise. All cards are rated in regards to the time of their reveal. Some cards get better or worse with future sets. True. Videos are retrospective into people's reaction to card release. It's not meant to dunk on anyone. Yeah, we got to make that very clear because for some reason, people thought I was like shitting on people for just reacting to how good they thought it was cards. That's not what this is. It's just fun to look in hindsight, people's rating on cards as, you know, before the expansions even came out. In defense of the people in this video, they reviewed every single card of every single expansion. We're spot on 99% of the time. This video just documents the 1% of the misses.
I think Mukla Tyrant of the Veil will fit into a lot of mid-range decks. It might even fit into a lot of Zoo decks. And it obviously work a little bit better in some of the spell synergistic, generally Mage decks. I think it's overall just a good, solid card.
Yo, I'm gonna be real here for a quick second though. I actually can't remember how much Mukla was played. Was he played at all? Right? I think the Mukla card was only good in Arena. Yeah, okay, he was dog. Okay, so Crypt thought he was a pretty solid card. That's fair.
Fit in decks like Flamewaker Mage, you know? Like any deck that just wants more spells in its hand, this is a great tool. You're getting a reasonable body, you're getting 2 spells, those spells have immediate impact. Like, it's not unplayable. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him a lot.
So overall, in my opinion, I think it's a pretty solid mech card. It might see some
Firebat. Firebat wasn't in the last video. Hey, dude.
play, but I don't think it's going to see a lot of play.
As a card that I'm actually tempted to put in the good category. Now, I originally compared this card with Ancient of Lore, the really good version. 7 mana 5/5, draw 2 cards. And I said, this is 6 mana 5/5, draw 2 bananas. I'm going to put this into the potential category.
This number, community points, is rating given to cards based on an open vote held Hearthstone at the time. Basically, public consensus on the card pre-release 0 to 100, the higher the better. Okay, I feel like this card, I feel like most of them are pretty spot on. Okay, hold on.
You know, I'm a little surprised it never took off. Just a tiny bit surprised. I tried Mukla, Tyrant of the Veil in a few decks, but yeah, it turned out to be not good enough to really make the 30th deck slot. However, with the Curator around the corner, maybe this is the beast that you want.
Spoiler, boys. The Curator did not help this card get played.
You're paying a 6 mana 5/5 for this effect. And if you compare it to like Emperor or Sylvanas or even Karen, for example, like which text would you rather have? If you compare it that way, it's kind of sucky, right?
Okay, so yeah, I think Amaz was really spot on here. People thought this was going to be playable, but again, like, why would you want to play this when Sylvanas is in the game? Why would you play this when Karen's in the game? There was just the 6 costs. Like, this was not it.
It is the biggest common card out there, and it is good that the card is printed because new players are going to have the opportunity to craft a huge card if they feel like it takes a huge card in order to win games. And then they're going to waste their 40 dust, but that's good because it's a learning experience for them.
Faceless Behemoth. Yeah. Moving on to Nazoth the Corruptor. Is this card good enough for Constructed?
Dude, I miss Raynard so much.
I tend to think that 10 mana cards aren't. I think in Wild, I think Dr. Boom will be too slow. So that kind of gives you an idea of how good I think.
I should mention, by the way, in case you guys forgot, Reynard reminded me right here. This was the first rotation ever. So we never really had an idea of what happens with Hearthstone when a standard rotation happens. Old God was the first time that happened.
So basically, I don't really expect this guy to see any play. I think he is too slow, but very cool. Honestly, the Old Gods are awesome. There's big epic minions. This effect doesn't quite do it for me. I think it's just a little bit too slow.
Any 10 mana card that doesn't
Bro, I can't with that one. That was crazy. Okay.
impact the board immediately is complete garbage.
I take back what I said. I wish I didn't bring up the standard rotation because it makes that review even worse.
Now, this minion, N'Zoth, he kind of is based on what died earlier in the game. He doesn't impact the board really. Like, filling the board with stuff is not really impacting the game. Impacting the game is like gaining life, putting a taunt, killing a minion. You just an immediate effect that basically affects the state of the board in a proactive sense.
So I think right now the card pool is too weak to support what this card does. I think in the future this card will see play. I think this card's going to see play in Wild, but in Standard I think the card pool is a little too weak to support the effect of this card. Maybe more cards will come out even in just this set that'll make this card extremely powerful.
You know, this could have been a spell, and this could have been like fine, but no, it is actually a 5/7 creature. Whether this is playable for other classes remains to be seen because we're losing Shredder. So we're just gonna give this a 9 out of 10, not a 10 out of 10 because it really depends on the other cards that are going to be seen. But man, this already has an archetype. It already is playable in Paladin.
Yeah, it did.
You get what I mean?
N'Zoth was really good. N'Zoth was basically introduced at the start of the year, and he kept on seeing play because it turned out there was a lot of really good death battles. But it's cool that it's interesting that Amaz was the only one that really thought this was going to be playable.
This weapon is really, really powerful. Some people say that, because it's not 4 mana, it's not going to make a big enough impact. It'll make a big enough impact. The second hit is synchronized with a high attack minion spawning. That is like an immense tempo swing. It's immense.
And oh my god, the value of this card is like off the charts, right? And for the fact that it's a 5 mana weapon that doesn't overload means that Fire Elemental can actually come down turn 6. All right, we're gonna give this a very high rating and constructed.
I think the
dude, Amaz was cooking, guys. He was cooking until that moment.
card will see play just by merit that it's a weapon, and weapons are good, but I don't think it's going to be a card that people are going to be super thrilled about.
This card,
I legitimately can't remember, and this probably speaks to how powerful this card was, but this card didn't see play, right? This card was awful. I can't remember it being played, so it has to be bad. Okay.
Weapons are good, but I don't think it's
I think Firebat's take was pretty good though for what it was.
This card holds tremendous value in it. For 1 mana, more than Deathspite. It's a lot of value packed into one card, and I think it's quite good. Kind of a surprise that Hammer of Twilight is one of the fewest cards I ended up seeing around. That it was tough to fit in all of the good cards into the deck, and also Doomhammer existed.
Hammer of Twilight, I don't think it's will see play at all. Not only does it compete with Doomhammer, but the 4/2 minion that you get is just not that strong. It's too easy to trade into, it's just not that good.
Raynad is back. All right, Raynad is so back after that one. It's crazy how one of them is always against the rest of them, and they ended up being right.
That Trump got to release that was given to Blizzard, and he kind of looked at it in a fairly optimistic light. In 60 to 70% of the time, you have a positive or neutral effect from the battle cry. Yes, you can draw 3 cards of Nourish, but you could also Soulfire itself, basically paying 5 mana and removing 2 cards from your hand, and that's it.
It's sad to see the card that I previewed rated this low. It's time to reveal my card, and boy have I been given a doozy of one. Servant of Yogg-Saron. I kind of hyped it up using best case scenarios, but it turns out when I went back for a second check, there were too many disastrous outcomes. It's bad.
Overall, it's probably not good enough, but if it is good enough, I'm very upset with Blizzard.
And we have Tentacles for Arms. This is a warrior weapon.
Oh my god. Okay, this card sucked. I think it was tried for a little bit because people tried to do a mid-range variant with this card in it, but yeah, people realized pretty quickly on average this card was atrocious.
And we have Tentacles for Arms. This is a warrior weapon if you were curious, but you're probably not that curious because the card is abysmal.
In control matchups, if you can get 6 wings of Tentacles for Arms off, and pay the 15 mana for it, and then get the Tentacles for Arms back in your hand, I think it's worth it, if you can do that.
Oh my god. when he said you can get 6 damage for 15 mana over 6 turns, I think my brain just like melted. This card sucked. But I will say, it's funny, like I remember back in the day, people thought this was actually going to be like a good card because people just thought that this was going to slide into Control Warrior and just be like, oh, you have infinite value with your weapons. Of course, this will be good.
A lot of things you can do to trigger this guy. Whether it's good enough just by itself, just because it's like a lot of stats, probably is. I don't know if it'll be like broken enough for constructed, but maybe in the wild format even. I don't think it'll like break the game or anything, but it is a pretty solid arena card, I think.
I mean, I don't want to write this card off right away, but I think this is just too weak. I don't know. It can be good. It's just like off the top, it's weak. I don't know. I don't think it's quite good enough to make the cut right now.
3 mana 1/5 is not what we're really looking for in terms of creatures. I don't want a conditional thing that gets better, and if I don't meet the requirements, it doesn't. So we're gonna give Darkshire Councilman 2. Yeah, not too exciting actually.
I'm very surprised to see Darkshire Councilman at this high a ranking. First of all, base stats are very poor. If you were to summon 2 cards with it on the same turn, then you're getting a 3 mana 3/5. If you do that with Questing Adventurer, you're getting a 3 mana 4/4. And Questing Adventurer saw absolutely no play whatsoever. And that actually hit with spells too. Anywho, this card takes a bit too long to get set up. Very similar to Questing Adventurer. You know, when I made this review, I didn't actually understand.
Okay, before I even hear what Trump had to say here, okay? I think at the time when people reviewed this card, they didn't realize that 5 health was pretty annoying to deal with on turn 3. You drop Flame Imp, you drop your Voidwalker or whatever, and then you play this. Yeah, it's a 3 mana 1/5 for 1 turn, but the second that card lived for 1 turn, it was absolutely disgusting.
Understand the term summon, but even if I did understand the term summon, I probably still would have called it then. It turns out I learned something really important. 3 mana, 5 health is really, really good. That combined with the Imp Gang boss and the Possessed Villager kind of pushed Star Councilman into a really good card.
So Warlock is a class that does have the ability to spawn a bunch of stuff thanks to just drawing a bunch of cards with its hero power or things like Forbidden Ritual. So I would not be surprised to see this show up in a board flood style Warlock deck as a powerful individual threat.
I mean, if you have 10 mana, you can play this and heal for 20, and that's not too bad. But in every other situation, it's kind of bad, kind of really bad. So I really don't think it's that great.
Forbidden Healing is the kind of card that just ends the game against Face Hunter on its own. This is a powerful card. All the Forbidden cards are much better than they look, I think. It's a card I would play at least 1 of in Control Paladin, maybe 2. Maybe it's that good. I don't know.
I think Raydad was right. I feel like Control Paladin, when it was played like 1 copy of it. And Control Paladin was like good because Control Paladin had Tyrion into an Azoth.
Next up, we have Cho'Gall.
That's a difficult one, though.
I think is going to be the next Dr. Boom. I think this card is crazy strong. Maybe I'm overestimating it a little bit, but to me, this reads play a 7/7 and kill one of your opponent's minions for just the cost of a little bit of life. I'm excited to see this card see play. I think it's going to be a really, really, really strong card in some sort of like mid-range, tempo-y zoo sort of Warlock decks. I think it's going to be really strong. It's definitely on my top 5 strongest cards of the expansion so far list.
Cho'Gall is a card that seems great until you look at all the spells of a Warlock. Spell list isn't that impressive. I'm almost tempted to shake the boat by calling Cho'Gall a bad card, but I'm just going to put it into the potential list.
No, Trump. Wow, that's hearing Firebat's analysis on that was kind of crazy. For the record, by the way, Firebat was the first world champion winner of Hearthstone of all time. And it's cool, like, hearing his reviews in hindsight. This card was not Dr. 7. The problem with Cho'Gall ended up being a couple things. 1, this was not a neutral card. This was for Warlock only. 2, playing a 7 mana 7/7 was not good. We already had War Golem. This card sucked. And I can understand, again, why Firebat thought this was going to be good. I honestly, I can understand it from like that perspective. But it's crazy to think about, like, this is mana cheating. This is one of the best mana cheating cards in a sense at the time. And it just was... yeah, it just was bad.
Now, this is what I was talking about when I was mentioning some really crappy cards. Doom is a really crappy card.
Crip's delivery there was so good.
Big dumb guy.
Right.
Needless to say, this card will see play everywhere. I wonder if someday we'll see an even better card.
Dustboar, 2 mana 4/1 beast. Then we have Silithid Swarmer, 3 mana 3/5, can only attack if your hero attack this turn. This is a very powerful rogue card because you can hero power on turn 2. Then a 3 mana 3/5 is ridiculous on a follow-up. Yeah, that's it. Good rogue card, kind of pointless otherwise.
Moving on to Slithid Swarmer, it's actually a very cool card. I like this a lot. A lot of people point to Rogue when they think about this card, and honestly, Rogue does need a 3-drop. Like, you're just playing like a naked SI agent on the board, and that always feels terrible because you want to get value out of all your cards. But Slithid Swarmer has insane stats. This is great. 3 mana 3/5 with your dagger that's going to be 4 damage. It's like a 3 mana Yeti. I actually think Slithid Swarmer might see a lot of play in that deck, but even outside of Rogue, you know, the Face Warrior deck, good old Rainad special. This guy would definitely see play in a deck like that as well.
I think if this card were in Rogue, the card would have been rated higher. Though, to be fair, for the most part, this probably will not see play in Rogue.
Dude, I'm baffled by this. Okay, that's crazy to hear in hindsight. I understand the perspective, though. Again, you got to remember, first rotation, 3 mana 3/5 is actually a really juicy stat line. The average for a 3-drop at the time was a 3/3. We didn't even, like, Spider Tank being a 3/4 was like, holy shit. So a 3/5, man, you're popping off there. A lot of you guys could probably guess this card did not see any play, but it's interesting. Like, I can understand why they would say that, though.
Now, if you look at that card, you would realize it kind of sucks a lot. The stats were very poor for the mana. At 9 mana, you need a high impact card. It does impact the board. It does impact the board, okay? It's not completely useless, but will it do enough? I would argue probably not. Saga the Slitherer is indeed a very interesting and very played card, in fact. So we thought, you know, it'll be a slow meta. I think in ladder right now, we are 85 to 90% aggro or tempo or combo deck. And Sagoth just happens to be pretty good against aggressive and mid-range decks.
What? Wait. What video was this from? I'm pretty sure he was bad. That, like, a week after the release of the expansion? It's crazy to think how much the Hearthstone team valued can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. And to be fair, as far as I'm concerned, in Magic the Gathering, that's a pretty good text to have, right? So I can understand that. 9 mana 5/9 though. My God. Trash stats. And even if it had taunt, it reminds me of Trogzor from the GVG era.
Cthulhu dudes plus board control dudes are a good combination, and armor cards plus removal is a good combination. But this card is like armor plus Cthulhu dudes. It's not a good fit, really. I think it's just too awkward.
Very similar to Twilight Darkmender, I'm going to take a leap here, and I'm going to call the Ancient Shieldbearer bad. That is because I cannot really imagine a Cthulhu deck in Warrior. Oh, should I make this bold call? That's dangerous. Should I move it up to has potential just because I'm scared? I'm gonna just go ahead and boldly call this card bad.
10 armor is so much. 10 armor is so much. Plus, it's not a bad body by itself, right? So Super Shield Maiden.
Okay, that is wild, dude. That card was so good. It was so Amaz is on point here. I think a lot of people at the time didn't think Cthulhu was going to be that good for Warrior. So when you look at this card, you're like, why am I playing this in Warrior? What's the point? But Cthulhu ended up being really good for Warrior. Like, it was, I think, the best deck for Warrior at the time. 10 armor back in the day of Hearthstone was a significant amount, and honestly, kind of blows my mind in hindsight that like 10 armor in 2023 Hearthstone was like not as nearly as insane as it was.
Basically, draw this guy, and you wait until you get a very good card, and then you play the card, and then you're pretty happy. I do expect this card will see a lot of play.
Oh my God, this is good. Why is this so good? You understand? People don't understand why this is so good. Because you can always just keep it in your hand, and if you don't want to play that, then don't play it, right? Just wait till another turn. But I cannot see how every single control deck is not going to play this.
Shifter Xeris. I think this card is good. Now granted, I think this card is only good in heavy control decks, which try to go really late game. I like the card, and I'm calling it good.
A little bit too slow, too. It's got a very cool design. I love legendaries like this, very funny. I'm pretty sure it's a pretty terrible card, and I'm trying to be pretty open-minded with new cards, but I'm pretty sure it's really bad.
Dude, that is wild, man. Why? Okay, so Raynad's analysis was like pretty much what this is. Really bad card. It turned out just keeping a card in your hand that does nothing and just does nothing every single turn is bad. You'd rather have a card that you can play and actually interact with the board state. On average, this card sucked.
Probably the most broken arena card I've ever seen. In Constructed, it'll probably see some play just because the stats are so nuts.
gonna be really difficult to deal with 7/7 on turn 4.
Pretty underrated, honestly. More people should be talking about this guy.
Whoa, that was fast. Okay. Flame Wreath Faceless. The 4-mana 7/7 meme was birthed from this card. This was the birthing, I was gonna call it, of the cards like this. I feel like where it really came down to was like you play Tunnel Trog, you followed up with something else, and then you drop a 4-mana 7/7, and then people are like, holy shit, like how do I deal with this and the Tunnel Trog?
I see a lot of people dismissing this card. You know, doesn't necessarily have great stats for 6. If this survives, you just get your win condition from your deck into your hand. I think this card is being slept on by a lot of people, and if you are playing a deck that is looking to end the game with one of these big 10 cost old gods, this is a card that I feel like you're almost certainly going to want to have in a lot of those versions of those decks.
Okay, to be fair, I understand where Killer is coming from, and especially at the time when they introduced all of the old gods, because all the old gods cost 10 mana. It's like the problem with the new updated version of Nat Pagel, where it's like it's at the start of your turn, and having something at the start of your turn is so much worse than having it at the end of your turn because it has to live.
I'm very tempted to call N'Zoth's First Mate a good card, but N'Zoth's First Mate is one of the best cards you can play on turn 1. Get a lot of value for that. Just tough for the warrior to back that up. An interesting card. I think it has a lot of potential.
So in a sense, this is 1 mana 1/1, summon a 1/1 charge minion. I'm gonna give this a 5.
What the fuck? Yo, what? Yo, what? Yo, he knew. That's crazy. Okay, sorry.
10 in constructed.
You generally want a bigger weapon than that because most of the pirates scale off of a bigger weapon better than a small weapon. In terms of constructed, I kind of have some doubts, but it is one of those like super aggressive cards. With enough of them, it might actually be pretty damn good.
Honestly, 1-mana cards are just broken. I overvalue them, if anything, but I think it's hard to overvalue them. When they do something, and this card does a lot, they're just so strong, man. You can't justify spending 2 mana to hero power down a card that they committed 1 mana to playing, and they still are left with a weapon. Like, I think this card's really, really strong. It will see play somewhere, and I don't know why people are not like talking about this more. 1-mana cards are nuts.
Okay, N'Zoth's First Mate, when it first got released, I don't know if it was like insane, but this card truly became an absolute like S tier card when Mean Streets of Gadsden came out. And it's funny because that's why I was like popping off with the Maz, because it's almost like a Maz knew that if you had Patches the Pirate in the game, like it'd be like the best card of the game.
Now you might look at it and be like, well, 8 mana, 6/7, but when you kill someone in the game, +2/+2, that's really cool. No, it's not at all.
In constructed, we can get a 6/7 for 6 mana. It's called Boulder Fist Ogre, and it's a basic card.
For the love of God, dust him. He's just terrible in so many ways. Moving on. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're absolutely right. This card sucked, dude. This card was so, like, the fact that this was printed after they had a little bit of a history of what was a good card in Hearthstone, like, actually blows my mind. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. Like, oh my God. But now we get to see Yogg, dude.
So, yeah, I just have my fingers crossed that this card sees no competitive play, because if this is like, if the Yogg-Saron deck is a thing in tournaments, imagine like every third game in competitive play comes down to this coin flip on turn 10. That could get pretty dangerous because it's very volatile. But all in all, very cool card. I know I'm going to lose to it literally every single time it's played against me. I'm just going to hope that that's not very often. As far as constructed viability, probably not gonna see too much is my guess. I hope that they would test this kind of card and make sure that it does not see competitive play. You know, if I get really upset at Hearthstone, which usually doesn't take too long, I might fall back on Yogg Saron and try to, you know, just Yogg some people, ruin their day. Seems like it'd be pretty fun.
Basically complete madness, complete chaos. It's gonna happen. Direct damage spells flying at all your other minions. Probably Yogg Saron is going to die from his own battle cry. So it's just a complete mess, but it's really cool. Overall, Yogg Saron is probably not going to see too much play, if any play at all, but maybe. We'll see. The craziness is going to be real, and I do expect out of all the dumb cards that are probably horrible, Yogg Saron will have the most people trying to make it work.
Not really sure what's going to happen. Who really can predict what this card's really going to do? I guarantee you it's going to see a lot of play, though, so I'm pretty excited to see this card get cast.
Yogg Saron Hope's End. This card, I'm going to say, has potential. It certainly looks very random, but there have been spreadsheets and
just the atom? Is there more in this world? Little mistress, I've got a question for the girl. Is it just a rapture, or is it bigger, this world?